Y'all probably know that I like testing new gear. So when I saw the Dioptics RP-1 come out, this little red dot right here, I was pretty interested. Reached out to the company, asked them to test it, and they sent one out to me. So we put a few rounds downrange with this setup today. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we're gonna do a little open boxing, talk about the specs. And before we do that, we're gonna do the channel intro. So stick around, this is pretty freaking cool. Welcome to the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. I am Jacob, your host. This channel is made possible through the support of my viewers. You can support this channel either by going to my website, beachandtactical.com, where I sell custom-made, made-to-order rifle slings. I'm also currently doing a pre-sale on our I Hate Communists t-shirts. I also have a knife brand, Exodus Knife and Tool, premium knives made in Michigan for practical use. And this month's channel sponsor is Stand Strong Art. I would encourage you to check him out, especially for his Christian warrior themed gear. So, links to how you can support this channel will be in the description box below, to include my Patreon and affiliate links. Let's get you right back to the content. All right, so what comes in the box? Got a nice box. We got some foamy foams here. Here we are. Old girl is thick and large. So we've got that. We've got a little lens cleaner McDoodle thingamajigger, a tool McJigger, some red Loctite for, I'm sorry, this is just blue Loctite for non-permanent tightening. We've got an Allen and a CR123A battery. It does come with the battery for the rig, so let's go ahead, drop it in, doot doot and scoot. Come on. All right, on the bottom we get a plus and a minus, so it's retard proof, thankfully for me. Side story, I actually forced myself to try and learn at a young age without looking at pluses and minuses which ways batteries went, because I got so irritated as a kid with switching them around. So that's weird. All right. What do we have now? Man, this thing is really cool. It'll be hard to focus on that reticle there, but you've got a 2 MOA dot in the center, 52 MOA dot on the outside. Simple buttons, brighter or less bright there. Can turn it down, can turn it way up, and you have an NV button there, so you don't hit that by accident or have to worry about any other settings or anything like that. It's a completely separate button, so that's cool. I'm replacing my old trusty Primary Arms Cyclops here. Ran this at Tactical Response for fighting rifle. Was very impressed. Need to get that info up still, I am sorry to say here. And let's give her an old slapperdoodle here. Let's see. Sure. How about that? She is thick with multiple C's. I'm not sure how many C's, but there is certainly more than 2 C's in the thickness there. So I did a 36 yard zero. Why? Because at that range, I have confidence that with a assailant easily out to 300 yards, I can point and shoot without really thinking about what I'm doing too much, thinking about elevation or anything else. I want a point and shoot deal. And I think that the 36 yard zero is the best for me for that use. Now, I zeroed on steel, so a lot of you are going to notice that that's pretty weird. And you're right, it is. Why did I do it? Because I didn't want to set up my board and get paper targets out. And I've been noticing with my PSA uppers, it's been too easy lately. I mean, I think the last 2-3 optics that I grabbed, I threw them on there and I was within 1 to 2 clicks of being zeroed right out of the box, which was the case here. I probably could have been considered zeroed immediately, but I still went 2 clicks left. I do like that this optic has half MOA clicks. But easy peasy, couple rounds. I'll dial it in a little closer when we reach out and I try and shoot some better groups at longer distances. But for today, man, it was easy. It was easy, it was quick, and I can certainly smoke someone within the first. I could have been confident in my ability to smoke somebody with my first round with the optics straight out of the box. Pretty wild. So that's why. All right, so the Dioptics USA RP-1 is made in South Korea. It has a 2 MOA center dot and a 52 MOA outer circle. It takes a CR123A battery. It has an 8,000 hour battery life. It's advertised as weighing 13.4 ounces. I'll talk about that here in just a moment. The temperature range that this optic is designed for is negative 25.6 degrees Fahrenheit to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The size of your lens is 35 by 25 millimeters, and the price is about $500. So I mentioned that the advertised weight was 13.4 ounces. In actuality, on my scale, it was just over 12 ounces. So it's just over twice as heavy as a Sig Sauer Romeo 5 optic with a Midwest Industries QD mount. I like any red dot that I'm going to run to be able to be relatively quickly removed with my fingers, with no tools. So I'm not going to weigh, I don't care what the Romeo 5 weighs without the QD mount, we're weighing it with the QD mount. So the Romeo 5 is going to be the natural first thing that shoppers are going to cross-shop. And there are a lot of differences here between the two optics. The advertised battery life on the Romeo 5 is 40,000 hours. The weight, again, about 6 ounces. And the objective lens is 20 millimeters, whereas the price on the street of the Romeo 5 is $120 to $170. So in my testing, what is going to make the Dioptics USA optic worth like 3 times as much as the Romeo 5? Well, there's a couple things that I want to mention. For one is the objective lens. Not only is the objective lens considerably larger on the Dioptics unit than the Sig, but also the space around the edges of that lens is much, much thinner. So it's much easier to quickly see your target and engage it. The 52 MOA circle helps with that. I love the reticle so far on the Dioptics USA. I love the size of it. I love, again, the thin profile around the lens. Those are very, very nice features. But to justify the weight and the price difference, what I'm going to have to see is this optic be just an absolute tank. So what are we going to do going forward? Going forward from here, we're going to stretch out our shooting. We're going to really dial in our zero, stretch it out quite a bit further than what we have shot here today. And I want to see, as well as I can in the short period of time in which I'm going to use this optic, if it's going to take a bit of abuse, water, hate, whatever it is, and hold a zero and keep on ticking. I'm going to be honest, for the guys who like the idea of an EOTech, but don't like all the problems associated with the EOTech, I think that this is a really good option so far. If it proves itself to be reliable, I think it likely will be, coming from South Korea. I don't know right now, but I would assume that this thing is based on a South Korean military optic. Oh, who freaking knows? Maybe I'm completely wrong there, but I would guess that it's going to be pretty sick. So overall, hey, the thing's freaking cool. This is just my first review. Dialed it right in. I mean, just shooting fantastic right off the bat. Couldn't ask for anything more. How is it going to hold up in the long run? How is it going to make itself worth the wait and the cost? That's what we're going to look to find out. So stick around, subscribe if you want to see the longer term review, if you want to see some abuse of this optic, and let me know what you think in the comments section below. I hope that you have a blessed day. Hey guys, I have to make a quick amendment to the video here on this optic. Not an amendment, but an addition here. Something that I did not notice at all, swim through here, is the tint of the optic. But it is certainly, it certainly has a pretty good blue-green tint. Man, I really love that reticle. But all I have to say about that is I hear a lot of people talking about optics and talking about all kinds of nerdy crap, and I don't know all that stuff. So I will be reviewing this optic from the perspective of a guy with combat experience who's used a lot of optics and who's going to do a lot of shooting and a lot of beating on it. The tint will be an issue for me if it makes certain targets or colors more difficult to see, or if it gets in the way of the optic bringing in light. So if it makes the picture too dark and affects my shooting in that way, then it will be a problem. For me, if it doesn't do those two things, it won't be an issue. And the reason I bring this up is I want to frame what you can expect going forward. Somebody on some forum out there can probably list for you every possible advantage and disadvantage of different tintings and all kinds of stuff. And some of it may be right, some of it may be completely right, some of it may be like right on paper but not necessarily practically right. I don't know. I want you to have a realistic expectation of what you're going to get from this video. So the color is there. That's going to be one of the things that I'm going to be looking at through this review so far. You know, especially with a red dot, I've got both eyes open. I didn't even notice it at first at all. I didn't notice it until I took a picture and showed it to my friend later. So there you go. Just